We got Gators breakdown here. We know we're business.
Gators breakdown. Because there's never a dull moment in Gator Nation.
And the Gators are continuing to mean business on the recruiting trail. Continues late Monday. Kekua Amua, tight end from IMG, committing to the Florida Gators. I'm your host right here on Gators Breakdown, David Waters. We'll get into it. We're going to get into it right here. Little late night Gators Breakdown, about probably 11 p.m. as we go live right here. So probably a little too early, I guess, to call Gators Breakdown after dark. You let me know. You guys let me know. But yeah, I don't know how many of you are going to be in here. You know, so wasn't sure when I was going to get around to it tonight. Was just enjoying some family time. Summertime, it slows down a little bit. Daughter doesn't have school, so all that. So got this, finished up a little bit of family time, and then here we go, get prepped for the episode right here. So late night drop right here. Kekua Amua, tight end, committed to the Gators. Justin Williams, Chancellor Campbell on Sunday. We thought this one could have a possibility of landing on Sunday as well, but no, waits a day. Big official visit weekend for the Gators. Getting 3 commitments from this past weekend. I mean, 5 commits in like the last 8 days for the Gators. So busy on the recruiting trail. Our Billy Napier and staff getting these commitments. Everybody hit that like button, subscribe right here on Gators Breakdown, but hit that like button. It really helps us out on YouTube. Subscribe right there on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform as the Gators staying hot on the recruiting trail. But keeping that announcement going. We'll get to it eventually. I don't want to get it overshadowed with all these commitments, but coming up, I'm going to now get it out there next week. J. Michael Sturdivant hops on Gators Breakdown. Really good episode. So I don't want you guys to miss that one. So be on the lookout for it. I'll be on vacation next week, so maybe even more commits. We know how that works out. But I'll probably release that since it's already ready to go. If you want to listen to it, watch it already. Become a Gators Breakdown Plus member. It is already on Gators Breakdown Plus. But for the mass audience out there, I'm going to save it with all this news going on. I want to respect J. Michael Sturdivant for his time and stuff, so I don't want to get overlooked with everything else that's going on out there on the recruiting trail there for the Gators. And also, do not forget, Independent Gator Media Day on July 27th, presented by the Sachs Law Group. Tickets starting at $25. You can come join us on July 27th, 1 p.m. at First Magnitude Brewing right there in Gainesville. It is hosted by Gators Breakdown, Stadium and Gale, High Top Sports. We're all getting together. Independent Gator Media Day should be a fun time. All right, so let's get to it. What you guys got to say in the comments? Double Gator Love, live Gator recruiting, watching from Colorado. It is dark here, so it is after dark across much of Gator Nation. There we go. Peyton Mitchell. There we go. GBAD. Gators Breakdown After Dark. So, okay, there we go. We'll label it that. We will label it that for sure. But thanks for hopping in. Nick comes in and says, "Go Gators. Turn around of the century this year for us." I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping. Speaking on that, Braden Gall from Athlon, I'm going to record with him this week as well, so that'll be out next week as well. So I'll be on vacation, but there will still be Gators Breakdown. There will still be Gators Breakdown for you next week. Probably not recovering recruiting. Hopefully there's some more after this weekend's coming up visits. There will be more commitments, and they'll just have to wait till I get back from vacation. But I am going to have some episodes for you guys in the can, ready to go. Corey Craze says, "Feel like the glory days could be coming back." So, hey, I hope so, man. I hope so. I mean, this year's big. We've been talking about it all offseason. We're excited. Recruiting now starting to get its, getting the numbers there. Well, quality. I know a lot of people are going to, keep banging on the 3-star drum. And that's, the majority of what Florida has right now. But it's just, we'll buy. The stars will come. the stars will come. No doubt about that. As I think a lot of the names. I think when you start looking at it, the bigger names. Keep mentioning that July and how it's going to work out for the Gators. That's what the big names are. But right now, 2 4-stars And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3-stars. Yeah, so, 7 commits. So, yeah, 2 4-stars in Justin Williams, Will Griffin, and then 3 stars, Chancellor Campbell, Caden Hall, Kekua Amua, Jameer Perez, and Everett Carr. But yeah. So there we go. But yeah, excited for it. But let's get into it. Let's get into this. Kekua Amua, been kind of predicted for Florida since back in April. Named Florida his leader. Coming out of the visits this past weekend. And he couldn't wait. We thought this was coming. You know, if you listen to the last episode, not really a huge shock that this one came along. Not really a huge shock, but, you know, just got to wait a day. Might have got greedy on Sunday. But nope. Amua waits till Monday. Let's get into it right here. 3-star on both the 24/7 Sports Composite and the On3 industry rankings. 6'6", 255-pounder. Family big fans of Russ Callaway and Billy Napier. This official visit pays off. Made this pledge. Committing to the Gators on Monday. 24/7 Sports has him as the 699th overall player and the 38th tight end. The On3 industry rankings also rates him 3 stars. 679th overall and the 37th tight end on that service. Official visit, you know, it was crucial getting his family on campus. That was the big thing. Getting his family on campus, kind of just putting the final touches on it. Like we said, this one had been trending quite some time. The predictions all the way back in April for Florida to land him. Official visit comes up. Got to bring the family on campus. And the family helping make the decision that Florida is the best fit for Amua. And look, it's another IMG product here for Florida to go along with Janare Carr. Remember the IMG curse. Remember that. Well, getting a little bit better this class, isn't it? Getting a little bit better. Amua picks Florida over Washington, North Carolina, and BYU, although nearly 20 programs offered from Hawaii, playing at IMG. And the Gators get another IMG product here. That can't be overlooked. This has been trending because Florida really didn't let up here. Now, I was talking to a source tonight about recruiting in general a little bit, but, you know, we've been talking and about Amua specifically. Source close to the program told me the staff thinks very, very highly of Amua. Definitely under the radar kind of kid. The staff is in love with how he plays the game, and they have a very high grade on him. The same source goes on to say, and just looking at the film, that, you know, the source, their opinion, and just in terms of play style, not trajectory or skill. Let's make that clear now. Let's make that clear. Just in terms of play style, that he sees a lot of Gronk in his game. Well-rounded tight end that can set an edge when in line, but can split out wide, take the top off of a defense, and go over the middle. A good athlete. And keeping it going here, Corey Bender from On3, he shares his analysis of Amua, brings a mix of size and strength and upside to the Gators' future offense. And here's a closer look at what he brings to the table. Big body, big potential, of course. 6'6", 257 pounds. Amua has the kind of size college coaches love at tight end. Already built like an SEC player and uses his big frame as well, both as a blocker and pass catcher. Size makes him a matchup problem for defenders, especially near the goal line or on third down. Shows reliable hands and catch radius. Soft hands, can pluck the ball out of the air with ease. He has a wide catch radius, meaning quarterbacks don't have to be perfect with their throws for him to make the play. Whether it's a short pass or over the middle or a high ball in the red zone, Amua gives his quarterback a reliable target. showing some physicality as well. One area where Aumua really stands out is in the run game. He is a strong and willing blocker who uses good technique and leverage. At IMG, he faced top talent every day, which helped him become more physical and a polished player. Florida wants tight ends who can play inline and hold up at the point of attack, and Aumua checks that box. And the upside here, even though Aumua is already impressive, there's plenty of room for growth, says Corey Bender. He's only a junior, still developing as a route runner and athlete, with coaching and time in Florida's strength program, which Aumua now really pointed out that he loved about Florida. Continuing here, he could become a well-rounded weapon in the passing game and a complete tight end overall. Keeping it going here with some analysis, Greg Biggins of 24/7 Sports said about a year ago in July, Aumua was easily among the best college prospects we saw at the Warriors for Youth Camp in July. Athletic, 6'5" frame, and projects as an every down tight end who can play in any situation. Showed strong hands, uses his frame to box out smaller linebackers and safeties, and catches the ball well through contact. He is a dominant run blocker on tape and can maul opposing linebackers or even edge rushers at the high school level. He's a physical player with a nice edge to his game, shows the ability to play as an inline tight end and run heavy situations or move out in the slot and be a focal point of the passing game. His upside is very high. He's going to be recruited at the high Power 4 level. So there you go. There's some analysis from On3, 24/7. Now you look at it, of course. You get that, kind of summarize it. Florida views him as a well-rounded prospect, reliable in the passing game, short, intermediate passing game. One more time, 6'6", 257, Hawaii native. Just a solid frame here. Stars be damned on this one. Florida gets a player they were really high on, regardless of recruiting ranking. Like I said, in asking around, in some of this analysis that you hear and reading some of the other reports out there, but, Florida really getting one they like here. And we all know the 12 personnel that this Florida offense runs, a bit, and it's something Aumua saw himself thriving in being so versatile. He did say, quote, "I can be a guy in the dirt, or I can be a guy that creates mismatches out on the field. I can play fullback if you need me to. I can play out wide. I'm just glad I'll be making an impact." So there you go. There you go. One more commitment there for the Gators. It's 7 now. 7 for the Gators class of 2026. And remember, wasn't that long ago, there was just one. Visits were just about to get underway, and for rival fan bases out there, Florida's a laughingstock, but, kind of looks stupid to me. Florida was just going to go all the way till September with one commitment. I guess that was the running joke. 5 in the last 8 days for the Gators. 5 in the last 8 days. Get another from IMG here. Hopefully that continues. We talked about it in the last episode with Edge Jake Kroll down the road. Hopefully that's another IMG, and you added another one here. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? That's the crown jewel of the IMG class right now, especially for a need and at a position for Florida. But I think too, we're tied in here. Amir Jackson, more of a receiving threat. We'll see how he fits into the offense this year. But now this versatile piece here with Aumua, going to continue. We'll get into it here in just a second. For tight end in Florida, we'll go back to this past weekend. Lincoln Watkins, he was on campus this past weekend. He says Florida's at the top of his list. Another tight end prospect. He's got scheduled visits to Nebraska, Tennessee in the coming weeks. The Gators are the clear front runner. If you go by what he said after that, impressive visit. Watkins and his family both impressed. But the situation at tight end, we talked about it last episode when we kind of hinting that Aumua should be committing anytime soon. But with Aumua committing, Watkins' spot, he's got Florida as his leader, but he may have to wait a while. It's not a secret. Florida is prioritizing Heezy Kent from Brunswick, Caden Prothro in Alabama, Georgia. battle probably more likely right now. I mean, Russ Callaway, offensive coordinator, and the position coach there at tight end, he's got some options this cycle. May have to make some decisions. Now, the easy one, and look at that from my viewpoint, when you're speaking at the top of the board, and I think tying that with one of the best chances at the top of the board, that's got to be Brunswick, Georgia's Hezy Kent. He's down to Florida, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Miami, and Texas. Florida was his first official visit over the summer. He was in Miami this past weekend, midweek to Georgia Tech on Monday. Future visits to Texas and Florida State. Mostly thanks to the Florida-Miami battle. Seems that way. Callaway's done a really good job of getting Florida into this one. And Georgia ties, Southern guy, kind of just fits in. Got to close the deal here on this one. And now, like I said, go back to talking to a source. Florida really, really high on Aumua. But Florida wants more than one tight end. When you got another one like Kent, who could possibly work his way, one of the higher-rated tight ends in the class, you could put together a pretty good class here. I don't know you fit 3 in. It might be stretching it for me at the tight end spot, but Aumua talked about it in the interviews, and we know just by watching Billy Napier and his offense, he loves a 2 tight end set. So as much as you like to use tight ends, maybe 3 is not off the table. But I think that's got to include you getting an elite. You getting one of the pro thrower. Maybe I don't see that one. I mean, I think Florida's in it, but got a lot of work to do, I think, to potentially surpass Bama. And I think Georgia probably leading. Georgia would be my pick on that one. So probably got to end up beating Miami for Hezy Kent. But there's your look at tight end. Let's keep it going. Let's go. A little more recruiting news coming out. DJ saying, I thought Kent was an offensive tackle now. I mean, Florida's still looking at him at tight end. So maybe that changes. But for everything I know, Kent's still being targeted as a tight end for the Gators. Maybe some programs out there are. Let's keep it going on the seemingly good news continuing for the Gators on the trail. Not in form of a commitment, but maybe one down the road. Hopefully soon. 4-star defensive lineman Jarayla McCoy from Tupelo, Mississippi, canceled a visit to Texas this weekend. And that means signs pointing towards Florida for an eventual commitment. I mean, he's named the top 3 of Florida, LSU, Texas, former LSU commit. It's been a battle primarily lately. Most people thought Florida or Texas, Gators versus Longhorns. Florida was trying this. Hey, don't take that visit to Texas. How about not? Well, it's going to work out that way. At one point, a trip to Texas was scheduled for June 6th. But that trip was then changed to this coming up weekend, to June 13th. That trip's now off. And he's going to come back to Gainesville this weekend for an unofficial visit. Was on campus not long ago for an official visit. Was supposed to be visiting Texas last weekend, maybe this weekend. That's not going to happen. Back in Gainesville for McCoy. Maybe on commitment watch this weekend. He's got a commitment date set for July 1st. So we'll see how that ends up. But looking good either way for the Orange and Blue. Whether he commits this weekend or not. He may set that July 1st date in stone. But you got to think Florida be the pick. Maybe put the final touches on that one this weekend. Whether it goes public or not, maybe it's the final touches. And some more news. 3-star offensive tackle Javari Lucas. He's moved up his commitment date. Talking about July 1st there, where he's moved his up from July 1st to June 16th. Visited Florida a couple of weekends ago. Named Florida his leader. So if you're looking for another offensive lineman, another offensive tackle type, that's Javari Lucas. Yeah, I think with him being the 3-star, probably would start whittling down the 3 stars. If you're interested in the star rankings and 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, believe me, I know I've heard it the last episode. Other conversations as well about when's the big names coming, why so many 3 stars. You're probably good for about 5 or 6 a class anyway. So we'll see where this one goes. But Lucas, 3-star offensive tackle, moving his commitment up to June 16th. Florida's leading for that one. So maybe another offensive lineman would be the 3rd offensive lineman commit in about a week. It's June 9th as we record this. Almost June 10th. Recording late right here. But so about a week for Javari Lucas and his decision. So we'll see where he decides to make his pledge. Visited West Virginia, I believe. So we'll see where that one goes. But looking good for Florida. Let's see, at the top of my head. Belglade, down South Florida. But all right, there we go. Short episode. Talked a lot of recruiting last episode. This one's kind of late at night, but got to get in. Kekua Amua committing to the Gators. Tight end prospect. Staff really loves him. We'll see where that goes. All right, got a lot of work coming up this week. Prepping for episodes next week. If Wednesday, I will do another episode. We'll get all the kickoff times for the SEC games. Now, there'll be some flex games in there, so it probably will be, you'll get the flex of it'll either be an afternoon or a night game. But for most of the games, we're going to get the start time. So that should be a fun episode on Wednesday. And then I'll be gearing up for a little bit of vacation. Hopefully some commitments flying in that I'll have to just do an episode on when I get back. There won't be no work done when I get back. While I'm on vacation. I'll have some other episodes that are just scheduled to release while I'm on vacation. The J. Michael Sturdivant interview. Talking the Athlon magazine, breaking all. So be on the lookout for those. But I'll let you guys know, of course. And that'll do it for this episode of Gators Breakdown. I'm your host, David Waters. You can find me on social media at GatorDave_SEC. Guys and girls out there, thank you for joining me on this episode of Gators Breakdown.